Whether or not Manchester United and Ineos build a brand new stadium, we'll find out at the end of the year. My personal prediction is that they will, and they'll regenerate the whole area. And what I want to do in this video is run through just released photos and plans of a brand new 115,000-seater stadium in Casablanca for the World Cup there. And the reason I'm doing that is because it's been designed by Populous, the same Populous who have been involved up until this point in plans for a new Old Trafford. I'll explain all the links. I'll speak about the architects who are involved, the actual size of the plots, compare the plots, and how that ties in to Manchester United, and maybe what we could learn. You can let me know what you think in the comments below, as you always do. But this stadium, of course, yeah, I see a lot of empty land there. That's a huge site. By the way, 1 million square meters. And I'll run into how that compares to what could happen inside the Old Trafford or Trafford regeneration project. Now look, the stadium has been designed by Wallaloo and Choi and Populous. And this is where the links come back to Manchester United. Let me just explain these. So Manchester United appointed Populous, well, the Glazers did, back in 2022 to help create the master plan for the redevelopment of Old Trafford. We know what's happened since. The Old Trafford task force has been made by Ineos. It's got Seb Coe on the board. It's got Gary Neville. And they've been having conversations. Now, there have been separate architects, right? Is it Norman and Partners? I think it's Norman and Partners. No, Foster and Partners. There you go. Who have been linked with actually being the architects that were going to do the job of a new stadium at Old Trafford. Stadium at Old Trafford? Of a new stadium for Manchester United. Now, the links there are the fact that they are redesigning Carrington right now. And Foster and Partners have worked with Populous on stadiums before. They built this one, famously for the World Cup final, the Lusail Stadium in Qatar. Now, I just want to take a quick look at this project, all right? Because it's huge, all right? The numbers are staggering. Look at this. Two ends of the stadium, 30,000 seats each. And this is mad. I couldn't get my head around this. 12,000 VIP seats. I hope that doesn't happen at Old Trafford, but I suppose it would. What 12,000 be what? 12%? I don't know how many. I don't know what percentage at Old Trafford currently is hospitality in boxes. No idea. Someone let me know in the comments. But this project is huge. All right. And you'll see similarities I'm going to draw. I'm going to pull up some pictures of another stadium they're involved in. How that maybe ties back into Manchester United. And also take a look at the SoFi Stadium. But it's massive. It's a full-on complex. Huge, steep stands. Inside, of course, if you fancy a quick game of basketball, there you go. Don't worry about it. We've got it covered. But it is monumental. And when it comes to the cutting edge, I suppose it's cutting edge. If you're looking at the Nou Camp and the Bernabeu, that's redeveloped stadiums inside the same footprint. When you're looking at the SoFi Stadium, when you're looking at this, is it called the Grand Stade Hassan, 115,000. Or whether you go further and you look at other stadiums that they are involved in. And Populous are involved in designing the Aramco Stadium in Saudi Arabia for the 2034, I think, Saudi Arabia World Cup. And this is on an 800,000 square meter plot of land. And you can see what's involved there. Comprehensive range of community, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't need to read all that out to you. It's more than just a stadium. And the size there is an interesting one, right? 800,000 square meters, all right? And I don't actually know the size of the SoFi Stadium, but you can see that is that the other little music venue in the background there? It's huge. All of these are more than just stadiums. And that's where we kind of, I think it gets interesting anyway. I found it interesting. When it ties back into Manchester United, because this was back in what, February? I think it was February time. This is from Trafford Council announcing the plans to regenerate the whole of the Trafford Wharfside master plan. Up to 5,000 quality new homes connecting Trafford Wharfside to the city centre and the new stadium for Manchester United. And they split it into 5 distinct areas, right? Trafford Wharf, Heritage Quarter, Stadium District, Innovation Quarter, and Wharfside Heart. And this was the map of it. Now, this is where it gets interesting, I think, because the size of that is 215 acres, all in. which works out to 827,000 square meters, which is there or thereabouts the size of this. So I think it's the first time that I've sort of allowed myself to sort of, what could it, obviously it's a little bit different. It's massively different. It's already developed area. They'd have to build around things. It's not as if they could just go and just build something brand new and huge in a space that doesn't have anything. All right, and that's not what I'm suggesting. But the square meterage of this is pretty much the same as what this plan is for. And honestly, look, we'll all find out in the goodness of time. I will be absolutely amazed if come the end of the year, we don't find out that Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos want to build not just a brand new stadium, but a brand new area. That whole regeneration project, and this obviously won't just be down to Ineos. Trafford Council will be getting involved. I imagine the UK Council. It's all about the regeneration of the area, and it's needed regeneration for some time. But I just found it interesting because that stadium, it's ridiculous, 115,000. But the fact that Populous have designed it, the fact that Foster and Partners are being linked with being the architects, would they work alongside Populous like they did together on this stadium here? And of course, Foster and Partners are already redeveloping Carrington. So they're already working with Ineos. In terms of how the stadium looks, by the way, I didn't actually comment on that. It's kind of got the similar sort of vibe as the SoFi Stadium, isn't it? By that, I mean, where's a picture of that? That one? Yeah. It's got such a huge roof that covers more than just the stadium, and you can walk inside, you can get lost inside. There is a lot under there around the pitch as well, which is exactly what that is. And because you've got the space to do it, I don't think you would ever get anything like that at Manchester United. But I just wanted to do this video because I find it interesting to keep an eye on what is being done, what is considered cutting edge, and maybe what United will be looking at and looking towards and potentially taking inspiration from. I think what they're going to be taking inspiration from is the fact that a football stadium should be more than a football stadium. And I think Jim Ratcliffe's already spoken about that. He wants, as a United fan, for somebody to not just go to the game, but to walk in and you're in like a Manchester United world for an hour before the game, for the game, and an hour after the game. That's what he wants to happen. Now, we'll get into that further down the line. I just found it interesting. You might not, but I'm going to be doing a lot more on this. And I'll tell you what, when it comes out, the deep dive that I'm going to do into all of this, into the new stadiums, looking into more detail about the SoFi Stadium and how that links back to Manchester United. And also looking at other projects too, maybe including this one in a bit more detail. I think it's the most exciting thing. And it's going to take a long time.